If I should die before I wake. The Journal of a Dying Soul. I am standing upon the seashore. A ship at my side spreads her white sails to the morning breeze and starts for the blue ocean. She is an object of beauty and strength. I stand and watch her until at length she hangs like a speck of white cloud just where the sea and sky come to mingle with each other. Then someone at my side says, "There she is gone." Gone where? Gone from my sight. That is all. She is just as large in mast and hull and spar as she was when she left my side, and she is just as able to bear the load of living freight to her destined port. Her diminished size is in me, not in her. And just at the moment when someone at my side says, "There she is gone," there are other eyes watching her coming and other voices ready to take up the glad shout. Here she comes. And that is dying. Henry Van Dyke. Journal entry. June 3, 2025. I could feel it. No one else could see it, but maybe they felt it too. Maybe it's the continual supply of white carnations with the lovely pale pink outlines, a beautiful hybrid and variation of my favorite flower, and their state of bloom that reminds me of life and living, which inevitably turn to death and dying. The gifting of flowers and cards was a sign that many of my friends, family members, and closest associates had begun anticipating my departure. Although the knowledge rested in two places, the bringer of death and the heart of the one approaching this messenger. I didn't make a fuss about it when the initial symptoms of death began to materialize. How could I? I'm an 88-year-old woman who has actually lived a rather fascinating life, although I'm not sure any of us feel completely fulfilled when the curtain call begins. There's always that one thing you forgot to do or finish. That one person you forgot to call back or say "I love you" to, only to receive notification of their own mortification. All things considered, no matter how unsure my kith and kin were concerning my transitioning as they studied my worn body and glassy eyes, I was sure. Death was approaching. Death has always arrived in its own unique fashion and almost never on time, always too soon. At least that's what we feel, especially in regards to our loved one. Unless, of course, you were one of those selfish, diabolical family members expecting some chunk of an inheritance when an old gal like myself passes away, then I suppose death takes far too long and couldn't come soon enough. Douchebags. Journal entry. June 4, 2025. It could take anywhere from a few minutes to a month for my soul to separate from its heavy and dense vehicle. I mean my body, of course, but for some odd reason I knew two things. I had longer than a few minutes but less than a month. I'm sleeping a lot more than I used to. I can wake up at 8 a.m. and by 9 I'm already feeling fatigued and tired. By 10 o'clock I'm right back to sleep for my morning nap. From an afternoon nap to a morning nap and eventually an evening nap that sometimes transitions into the night's rest. I sleep a lot now. My energy levels are going down for sure. At least my physical energy. Journal entry. June 5, 2025. As the knowledge of and realization that I'm actually dying settles in and becomes a reality, I can feel myself being withdrawn from the world. I suppose it's the genesis of separation, spiritual separation, as I'm feeling a lack of interest in any and everything I once loved. Like reading. It's not that I hate it, I just can't produce enough energy to love it or be motivated by it. The same is true with television and the simple companionship and company of others. Just yesterday, as wrong as it may have felt, I had to tell my niece I didn't want any company. I could see it clearly broke her heart, but my crabbiness and clamminess would have only angered her more. It's not that I had to do much of anything. It's just the outside is becoming less important than the inside. Introspection and reflecting on my life as a whole, from birth till now, has begun to dominate my thoughts whenever I'm awake. It's really no different when I'm asleep. A film of my life playing like a movie on the projection screen of my consciousness. There's the carrying and delivering of my daughter. There's memories of her father and the day we wed. There's also the feeling of some guilt and unfinished business that haunt ever so often, but there is a euphoric bliss that still accompanies my good memories. Journal entry. June 6, 2025. They think I'm sleeping, but the universe is really working on me internally to prepare me for death, or what I like to refer to as transitioning, considering I don't believe it's the end of me or my soul or consciousness in prana form. Maybe a new body, who knows? Maybe a feline or canine body. Maybe a non-material sort of spiritual world that resembles the world of matter in everything but physical nature. A mental world like our dream worlds, if you would. Journal entry. June 7, 2025. As these last hours of my life wind down, I'm a lot more sparing with my words. Words remind me of physical life, and at this point only the language of my heart seems to matter to my soul. Journal entry. June 8, 2025. Today a meal was prepared for me by the home health care worker looking after me. Without words, I declined and pushed the tray away. I did drink the apple juice she brought me. I don't know. I just don't feel like eating much anymore. First it was meats, then certain fruits and veggies and anything else that's hard to digest. Now, at this stage of the dying process, solid foods repulse me altogether. I guess spiritual energy is all I need now, not its physical counterpart. Journal entry. June 9, 2025. I'm guessing I may have 1 or 2 days left to live. I sleep all day now and can't even see where I found the time to log this entry. As I write this, I smile to myself. We humans swear we are so important. Who's really going to want to read the diary or journal of a dying old lady? Maybe the grands will appreciate it. The truth is, I feel like I know I have one leg in the physical world and one leg in the spirit world. My words slur now, sometimes reflecting my cognitive disorientation and deterioration. I now feel disoriented and unbalanced in my minimal number of waking hours. Confused even. I know my visitors have no idea what I'm talking about anymore as I mispronounce names and places and tell stories that often sound lifetimes apart, like, do you remember when we visited Windsor Castle, Vivian? How King Henry I gave us a personal tour of his bedroom. The healthcare worker's name is Olivia, not Vivian. And we were giving a tour of the castle, including where Henry I slept. He most certainly didn't give us a tour of the castle himself. I knew my words and ideas were now coming out a little convoluted, but it made sense to me in my head. The thing is, I've heard the dying person sees things the living doesn't. People, places and things, antiquities and futuristic expressions. It is as if I can glimpse into the eternal wheel of life, as if I'm better in tune with the infinite. As I look into grounding more, especially spiritually, physical activities seem and feel aimless and pointless. Physically, I'm clearly dying. My blood pressure is continuously lowering. Some days my pulse beats at an increased rate, in the hundreds, and other times as low as 0. I'm either cold or feverishly hot, never stable in the middle as far as my body temperature. I perspire often and my skin changes color like a rainbow. Red with fever, blue with cold, and a pale yellow pallor when nauseous. Because of the lack of blood circulation, my hands, feet and nail beds are always blue. My breathing is now fluctuating as well. I don't breathe very rhythmically anymore and I'm congested a lot more these days, especially during sleep. Journal entry. June 10, 2025. Caroline Rivers' final journal entry. I'm smiling because today I had one of those rare energy bursts that makes me forget about the mystery of death as I use these last few energy surges to enjoy the levity of living. I felt like my old self today. Captain of the females' high school swim team. I've always been a great organizer and communicator, and today I spoke, laughed and joked without the slightest disorientation. I sat with my niece and sister and had a great conversation. I guess the last surge of energy for the transition from this realm to the next has manifested, and today, I used that energy to love. I used that energy to chat and to take a lasting stare at my garden. The thing I do miss more than anything but family is tending to my garden. But tonight was back to normal. The company left. I lost my energy, and reminded myself that I was still in the state of dying. I'm sad. I wish I could have done so much more. I've left so much unfinished business out there, a few unvoiced apologies still plaguing my heart and resting sourly on the tip of my tongue. I'm already starting to miss life and living. I became restless. I can't breathe and I'm congested. My eyes are open but I can't see much anymore through these opaque glossy eyes. Even these words as I write them. I glance down at my writing hand. It's no longer blues but a deep purple. It's dead. I'm dead. Olivia walked in the room to check on her Auntie Caroline and what she feared awaited her. Auntie? Aunt Caroline. Olivia called out to no response. Olivia touched Caroline's hand and nearly passed out from the mixture of hope and fear as Caroline's body let out 2 long and spaced out breaths. It was normal. The body was emptying itself of spirit and soul, ether and air. Caroline was gone. She'd entered a new world. Death is no enemy of man. It is a friend who, when the work of life is done, just cuts the cord that binds the human boat to earth. that it may sail on smoother seas.